anytime more than one person does a murder, you have in the state of California at 182 a conspiracy charge that's added to the murder charge. Got it? So conspiracies are big. We work them all the time. They need 5 things to be successful. 5 things. Here we go. First, you need the lowest possible number of co-conspirators. It's much easier to do a conspiracy with 2 people than it is to do with 20 people. Why? Because 20 people have to keep the secret, right? 2 is easier. So the lower the number of people, the easier it is to pull it off. Also, the shorter the time span that you have to hold on to this conspiracy, that's big. If I got to hold on to it for 12 hours, that's hard enough. If I got to hold on for 12 years, that's really hard, okay? So how long I got to hold on to it, that's a big deal. Lower the number, lower the time span. That makes them easier to succeed. Third thing you have to deal with is excellent. This is really important. Excellent communication between co-conspirators. If I get checked up by the police and you say, hey, what did you tell him? I need to know what you said to him, because if they catch me, I don't have the same story. You have to have great communication between co-conspirators, so when you get interviewed, you have now typically co-conspirators do cover stuff, so they have the same story, but I'm not going to stop there. I'm going to get so down in the weeds with this story that there's no way they covered that stuff before. So my interviews will be very, very involved, very lengthy to get below the cover story. Make sense? Fourth thing you want, if you've got it, is strong family relationships make conspiracies more reasonable. What I mean is, if a mom and a son do a murder together, the mom is never going to rat off her son. She's not going to waive her rights to talk to you. You won't even get an interview out of that mom. Now, the boy may very well rat off his mom, okay? But the mom's not going to rat off her boy. Last thing, low pressure. If no one's asking, no one's going to tell. If no one's threatening, no one's going to bend. So if you've got low pressure and you have these 5 circumstances that are in place, yes, now that you can pull off. That's a conspiracy that's reasonable. But you have to break this somehow. Now I want us to think about this in the context of the disciples who are supposedly pulling off the biggest, most amazing conspiracy ever in the history of conspiracies. So let's turn the corner and see, do these guys have any of those conditions that would make this a reasonable conspiracy? Remember, anything's possible. We don't care about possible. We only care about reasonable. Well, let's take a look. Here's a game board. Let's play a little game of Clue together. Ready? The Clue board, though we're going to change the board a little bit. We're going to use the area around where Jesus' ministry was. That would be our board. Put the pieces on the board. Those are our disciples. There they are. Now let's play the game together. First thing we're going to ask is this one. How much time has passed? How long do they have to hold the conspiracy? Remember, shorter is better. Well, how much time do they hold the conspiracy? Yeah, like 60 years. Really? Okay, 60. Okay, that's the first problem. Not only that, though, think about it. Do they have excellent communication? Remember, they're not all bunched together. Let's put them where they really belong. Here we go. Do you think that Thomas can say, hey, Matthew, I'm getting my butt kicked over here in India. Can you tell me? What'd you tell these guys? Because, man, they're sweating me over here. Like, help me out here. They're sweating me like big time over here. Help me out. No, he can't do that. He can't send them an Instagram. He can't send them a Facebook message. You can't do any of that stuff, right? They're separated by thousands of miles and they can't communicate. You don't think, let me tell you something. Pliny the Younger writes to Trajan in the 2nd century and says he is pressuring Christians to recant. And the Christians who weren't eyewitnesses, the 2nd and 3rd generation of disciples, who didn't see Jesus, they were recanting and they were accepting the Roman gods to stay alive. You don't think that was happening in the 1st generation? Of course it was. But we have no evidence of anybody ever recanting in the 1st generation of eyewitnesses, right? So, how about this? Were they pressured in any way? Yeah. Like Jack Bauer 24 pressure, okay? That's the kind of pressure these guys were getting, okay? It wasn't a small little bit of pressure. It was all the way to death. So that tell me that all the things you need for a successful conspiracy are missing here. Were there some brother sets in here? Yeah, of course there were some brother sets in here. You think, though, that Matthew was going to die for a lie if it's not true? Who was he related to? So finally, when you look at this, I just don't think this is a reasonable expectation that this, it could be a lot of things, but I don't think it's a conspiracy. Because conspiracies, as I work them, this doesn't meet any of the criteria of what I would expect for a successful conspiracy. That makes sense now? And by the way, so if you're up to these 9/11 conspiracies, or you need an entire segment of the federal government to be in collusion with one another to hold this secret since the time Kennedy was shot all the way to now, please stop doing that, okay? That's so stupid. Okay? Because it breaks all the things you need to have necessary for a successful conspiracy. If we're going to be the nut jobs who are conspiracy theorists, then we better start to swallow all the other conspiracy theories about Jesus too. Make sense? Also, what is their motive? We talked about it before last time I was here with you guys. 3 reasons why anyone kills anyone are the same 3 reasons why anyone lies about anything. They're the same 3 reasons why anyone steals anything. Anyone does anything wrong. Anything you've ever done wrong is only 3 motives. You don't walk into a death scene, oh my gosh, there's 1,000 reasons why somebody could have killed her. No, they're not. There are 3. Find somebody in one of those 3 categories, we're done. Make sense? Now here we go. Motive.